Hello, this is Courtney with C. Clark Creative. Thanks for stopping by. Today, I have another kind of a process video for you. I have invested in some new cardstock and inks and wanted to show you how I kind of set up myself to use this cardstock and inks, how I organize them, how I keep them organized so that I can find them and use them efficiently. So I have started by selecting 14 colors of Tailored Expression cardstock and mini ink pads. And I'm going to start off with how I do my cardstock organization. So I get these Avery job ticket holders. I get them off Amazon. I'll have the name below, and then you can link over to my blog where I will have a link to the exact product I use. So what I do is, these come 10 to a pack, so I needed to get, I had a couple at home, so I needed to get 2 full packs to be able to get all 14 colors. Each color gets its own packet, or own pocket, I guess I should say. And what I do is, I have a silhouette portrait machine that I have created my own stickers with, my own labeling stickers. Here they are. Before I had my silhouette, I used just a label maker. I just felt like using my silhouette's a little bit more cost effective, and I can customize exactly what my stickers look like. So here I have 2 of each label, and I will show you why I have 2 in just a moment. I did not need to create labels for the ink pads because they are already labeled, which is awesome with that bit of color and the label itself, but there will be some adjustments I'll need to make to those ink pads. But for the cardstock, I just place I find the sticker that matches with, I'm starting with the raspberry sorbet, so I find my raspberry sorbet label and get it on the job ticket holder. Now, all of my other collections, I have the label in approximately the same place. So what I'm going to do is grab one of my other job ticket holders just to get that placement in about the same place. I don't measure. I'm not very particular. If I have a crooked label, I'm not too worried. You can see this Gina K craft label was done with my label maker before I had my silhouette. So I just place one pocket over the other and place that sticker right over the top. That's what's great about these being clear. So that's how I keep my labels in about the same spot. And then I'm going to put my cardstock in, but I will keep one sheet of that cardstock out because I keep a little swatch book of my cardstock so I can easily go through my colors and figure out exactly which color I want to use. So I will leave one of each color out, and then I will put together that booklet after I have all my cardstock in their pockets. So I'm going to speed up the video a little bit and put a little bit of music on so you can just kind of see how I put these all together, and I'll pop back on after these are put together. To keep all my cardstock organized, I keep them in paper holders from IKEA, and then I can just have all my collections standing up next to each other on a shelf. So then I'm going to move on to the ink. So for the mini ink pads, I store all of mine in the Tim Holtz Distress mini ink storage tins. And what I do is I just put a label on the ends of the tin and then have them all stacked up on a shelf, a couple stacks. You can see I have Altenew, Gina K, all the mini ink tin or ink pads fit in these tins really well. So that's just how I like to organize them and keep the collections labeled clearly so it's easy to find what I'm looking for. So first off, what I'm going to do is I am going to, this label goes over the top, covers past the top onto the bottom. So I don't want these sticking every time I want to use the ink pads. So what I'm going to do is just take a pair of scissors and trim up the two ends of these labels. See, I'll take the top off a little bit and the bottom, and then the top still has the color name and the color on it. So when I go to use these pads, they will be all ready to go. So at first what I thought I was going to do is keep that bottom part of the label that says the color name on it and reapply it to the base of the lid, kind of overlap the stickers there. And I did that for a couple of the pads before I decided, nah, that's not necessary. It's not sticking real great anyway. So I ended up taking those off and just finishing off, there go my dogs, finishing off, just chopping off the top and the bottom of that label and moving on. So you can see here what I've done is I've purchased 3 color collections essentially of the cardstock and the coordinating inks, and then just a couple other colors, and that fits into 2 tins, leaves me some room for expanding my collection in the future. But for right now, I will keep these colors in their collections. They do match outside of their collection. It's just the way the color collections go. They work together really well as they are. So for, as I mentioned earlier, for the end of my tin, I'm going to print out a label with my Brother P-Touch label maker here, just so when all the tins are up on my shelf, I can easily tell the difference between my Altenew tins and my Gina K tins, my Distress ink tins, and the Tailored Expressions tins. Now, because I love to see all my options at a glance, I also have a ink swatch booklet. This, I just use some binder rings, and this idea I actually got from Jennifer McGuire's. I'm sure a lot of people have. She's great at organizing things as well. So I have this packet, which I will link below, the one that I use, and essentially 2x2 cards fit inside. I use Nina Solar White Classic Crest 80-pound cardstock because that's what I generally am stamping on. And then I have an older Close to My Heart stamp set, which I use the exact same heart stamp for all of my swatches. So I go through, I make 2 stamps and just handwrite in the name of the brand and the color, and then get those swatches all stamped and put into my ink swatch book. Here I have a collection of my cardstock booklets. I have cardstock from the Stamp Market, my favorite things, Gina K. I have some Simon Says Stamp, some Nina cardstock, and so I'm going to make one for my Tailored Expression cardstock. The specific tag die that I use is from Altenew. It's the Handmade Tags die, but obviously any type of tag would work, or even rectangles cut with a hole punch put in, and then I just use these rings to keep them organized. So this is why I printed 2 of each label instead of handwriting the color and the company on the cardstock itself. I'm just going to use the stickers, which makes my job a lot quicker and easier. So these are the bits of cardstock that I kept out when I was putting together my cardstock pockets. So what I'm going to do is just cut one label from each of those cardstocks, and then I will match them up with their appropriate label and get it put together and have my cardstock booklet swatch booklet made. There we go, my cardstock swatch book. And there you have it, my cardstock swatch book, my ink swatches, and this is how I keep myself organized. So thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.